They say failure is a bruise. But for Arianna Huffington, failure wasn't a bruise. It was a wall. A physical wall of 36 rejection letters screaming one word: no. Before she became a media queen worth millions, she was just a girl staring at that wall, wondering if she should end it all. This isn't a story about winning. This is a story about how to survive the darkness. London in the 70s was unforgiving. In a room that smelled of damp wood and loneliness, the only sound was the clacking of her typewriter. Each key she struck was a heartbeat, a prayer sent out into the void. She wasn't just writing a book, she was writing her way out of poverty. Do you know the feeling of putting your soul in an envelope? Standing in the freezing cold, sliding your hope into a red metal box, believing that this time, someone will understand you. It's a fragile hope. But the world didn't care. The first letter came back, then the 5th, then the 20th. The pain wasn't sharp anymore. It was dull and heavy. They didn't just reject her book. They rejected her. Most people hide their failures. Arianna pinned them up. She forced herself to look at the wall of shame every single day. 36 voices telling her she wasn't good enough. The silence in that room was deafening. Her bank account hit zero. The fridge was empty. The pressure wasn't just about money. It was the crushing weight of judgment. Society whispered, "You are a fool. Give up." There is a breaking point for everyone. One night, by the River Thames, the water looked peaceful, dark and quiet. It offered an escape from the rejection. She stood on the edge, looking into the abyss. She went home and looked in the mirror. The reflection was distorted, broken. A voice inside her head screamed, "You are finished." But deep down, a tiny ember was still burning. Just a spark. Why do we keep going when everything says stop? Because the only thing scarier than failing is wondering, what if? She dried her tears. She packed the manuscript again, not with hope, but with defiance. Publisher number 37. 36 had said no. Statistically, she was wasting her time. But she walked down that street anyway. Sometimes, courage is just putting one foot in front of the other when you want to collapse. Publisher number 37. A small, dusty office that smelled of old paper. When the editor reached out his hand and said, "We will take it," the world stopped spinning for a second. It wasn't a $1 million deal. It was barely enough to pay rent. But that handshake meant one thing. The wall of silence was finally broken. Seeing her book on a shelf didn't fix everything overnight. But it was physical proof. Proof that 36 no's were wrong. Proof that if you knock on enough doors until your knuckles bleed, eventually one will open. That little book was her flag planted on the summit of rejection. Decades passed. The typewriter was replaced by the keyboard. Ink turned into pixels. But the hunger inside Arianna didn't age. She realized the battleground was changing, and she wasn't content with just surviving anymore. She wanted to build a kingdom where her voice couldn't be silenced again. 2005. She launched the Huffington Post. Imagine the chaos. A tiny team, sleepless nights, cables everywhere. They were David fighting Goliath. The media giants laughed at them. They said, "Who does she think she is?" She was no longer the scared girl in London. She was a general at war. The critics were ruthless. They called her project a celebrity vanity failure. The insults were sharp. But do you think words can hurt a woman who stared down 36 rejections? Her skin was armor now. She read the hate, smiled, and got back to work. Their doubt was her fuel. Then came the vindication. 6 years later, AOL bought her Failure for $315 million. Standing on that stage, bathed in golden light, she wasn't looking at the crowd. She was looking back at her younger self sitting in the dark. She had turned her deepest pain into her greatest fortune. Look at this mountain she climbed. It wasn't made of opportunities. It was made of garbage. It was built from every slammed door, every no, every you can't. She didn't walk around the trash. She stood on top of it to touch the sky. Arianna Huffington taught us a brutal truth. Life will try to break you. It will send you 36 reasons to quit. But resilience isn't about not falling. It's about deciding that the ground is not where you belong. So I ask you today, what is your number? Are you at rejection number 10, number 20, or number 36? Don't you dare stop now. Your masterpiece, your victory, your legacy is waiting just behind door number 37.